And welcome back to our Colorado flooding coverage. And we are going to focus on Boulder right now, where there are still multiple road closures out there and major flooding issues to be dealt with.
Marc Stewart is near Broadway and Elder, and it looks like there's a river running by your feet there, Marc.
I think that's the best way to describe it, Mike. Take a look. That river goes all the way from the intersection of Broadway and Elder, and then all the way down the block here on Broadway. And you can see there's a car hydroplaning. There's another car that's starting to get submerged. Police are here stationed, along with, we saw a fire truck at the end of the street. This seems like an innocent stream, but it's not. All afternoon long, police have been emphasizing the fact that the entire city is vulnerable. And as this rain intensifies, so too could this stream, as we saw overnight. And what will happen is that eventually we could see much more force, much more power, much more lift. And what looks like water in many ways could become like concrete, taking everything that goes through its way. One similarity is that of Manitou Springs. You remember we saw that mud going through. Well, this is kind of in its infant stage, at least here in Boulder. And so for that reason, a police officer is here parked, getting ready to perhaps close off the street just in case things get a little too dangerous, as we have seen can change very quickly. I was at the 4 o'clock briefing with the Boulder County Sheriff's Office, and they were talking about the fact that all 12 dams are still structurally sound, but all the water is overflowing, and that's what we are seeing here. And unfortunately, as this rain keeps falling, so too will the flow in neighborhoods just like this, and that's why there is so much caution. And again, we've been talking about how appearances can be deceiving, but this water here is not just a few inches deep. It's probably about a foot and a half. And as we have been seeing in other communities across our area, these water levels can rise very quickly. And something else to see, there's some debris here in the street, and this is just minor compared to other neighborhoods. There's some branches as well as some rocks, and that's why, Anna and Mike, people here in Boulder, even in these neighborhoods which seem pretty innocent, are having to use so much caution and are being told to stay inside and be safe.
Yeah, and Mark, as I'm looking at the list of the Boulder street closures, the list, there's probably 70 intersections on there, and the Boulder Sheriff has told people not to drive, to try and stay at home. So I'm first of all surprised at all the traffic around there, but also talk about your drive into Boulder and describe what conditions were like.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that list of closures, because it will be changing throughout the night. I was driving down 36 at around 2:30 this afternoon, and just as you were entering the Flatiron, that shopping center area, the water level was creeping up little by little. And talking to a deputy here from the Sheriff's Department, I would not be surprised if perhaps later in the evening major thoroughfares like 36 are closed, because things are just changing so quickly. Overall, though, they have said that traffic flow both here in the city and across the county is significantly less than we would see on a Thursday afternoon. But yeah, there are still some people who are curious, taking a look, and you know, these precautions are here for a reason, because again, this looks to be pretty harmless, but as we have seen throughout almost 24 hours now, all of this can change, you know, within just seconds.
Marc, before we let you go, very quickly, what's the weather been like in that area? Is it starting to rain again? Is it continuing to spritz? What's going on there right now?
Yeah, the weather, in fact, the rain has now been picking up. It's been raining pretty heavily for the last 30 minutes, and you know, in the last minute or two, it's been falling once again. And that's the worry, because of course people would like to assess damage and try to move forward, but as the Sheriff's Office was telling me earlier, for now they are in life-saving mode. They are not the recovery phase, and you know, as long as this rain is falling and we are seeing streams like this, people's safety in some cases could be in jeopardy.
All right, Marc Stewart at Broadway and Elder in Boulder, continuing to watch the situation for us this afternoon.